Hey everybody, it's your girl Kelly Price, and you know I got so
And Kelly, I just want to say thank you so much. You always show us so much love in return. You are truly one of the treasures in R&B music, and we
oh,
always love to celebrate you and your music.
thank
So thank you,
you.
and we're
And
glad you're back as well.
you talk so great about my grandbabies. People are like, "You have grandchildren?" Yeah, I have grandchildren.
Yep,
Thank you, thank you.
Absolutely.
I enjoy you guys' platform. I appreciate you too.
For sure. So, Kelly, let's get started. We always like to start out with this question with all of our artists, our favorite artists. What's a song in your catalog when you look back at now where you're just like, I killed that song? Like, it doesn't even have to be about chart success, just vocally or your writing. Like, what's a song that you just look back and you're just like, that's the one?
Lyrically, one of my favorite songs that I've written is a song called Metamorphosis.
Mm.
And it was literally on the album that came out in 2014. And I really didn't work that album at all because that album literally came out like weeks after my sister died.
Right.
So, but there was a song, it was on the same album as It's My Time.
Yeah.
And It's My Time was the lead single from it. And then my sister passed. And I did do some working of the record, but not a whole lot of it. It was a rough year. But I wrote a song called Metamorphosis on that album. And it is literally one of my favorite songs, pen to paper. Just lyrically, I felt like I'd grown up. I'm an adult writer.
Yeah.
Not that I was ever a childish writer, but like the song was just really, it was elevated in the, I felt like Donny Hathaway. I felt like it was something that Donny Hathaway could have written, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so I felt like I had graduated into a new class of writer. Cause like when you think about the things that he's written, I've been so many places. I mean, like who thinks about that kind of stuff? And that's what Metamorphosis felt like to me.
So
Awesome.
Was that a song that you wrote fast, or did it take you some time? Because you've been doing this for a while. So to get to that new level, did it take some
I'm
time?
going to tell you something. I got to the studio. I remember that day. I got to the studio that day. Shep Crawford was already there. And he was just playing this thing on like this. I mean, it felt like thunder coming from the piano, and it felt emotional. And so when I walked in, he was like, "Okay, my bad. Let me take." He said, "I was just in another world." I was like, "No, stay right there. Stay right there." And so I grabbed a pad and I grabbed a pen and literally just started singing, "Butterflies are beauty floating, but that's not the way they begin their journey." Like it literally just is one of my favorite songs lyrically. I feel like I really felt like I kind of went somewhere. I felt something. I felt like I was something special as a writer in that moment. I did. Now that is one of the songs I will honestly say, yo, you can write. It wasn't a single. And you have to be a deep cut Kelly Price listener to even know that song. But lyrically, it is probably one of the best pieces I've ever written.
Right.
Amazing.
That's dope. That's dope. And when we interviewed you last year, we told you we were getting a little impatient for new music from Kelly Price, for a new album.
Yeah.
Since Sing, Pray, Love Volume 1. Now, here we are, 2021, the announcement of the new album, Grace. We're excited
Which
to hear
was
about
not
that.
the plan.
That was not the plan.
No.
What was the plan?
I have been working on the new R&B album in between filming television shows, and I've been doing a lot more TV and film and that kind of thing, which I'm loving. And just recording in between. So I probably have about 40 songs that in between seasons of shows, in and out of the studio, getting them done. It was not the plan. And then I was invited to join Sunday Best as a judge. And when that season 9 ended and I was asked to perform, I covered a Clark Sisters song, which I love the Clark Sisters. I grew up with them and on their music and know the whole family. And literally just that performance went crazy on the internet. And so when I was invited back for season 10 as a judge, I said, well, it might be good to kind of have your own music so that you have a song to sing of your own for the finale. And so I had a song. I was going to just do the one song. And then the world, we went on timeout. You know, we got COVID, and I started losing family members, and my grandfather I lost early in the pandemic, and you know, people I'd grown up with in church and in school, especially with New York being that epicenter. And then my grandmother got COVID at 95, kicked COVID's behind at 95.
Wow.
Nice.
But then my mom got sick in the end of October, and we lost my mom at the end of the year. So the way the world went kind of decided for me what was to come next, because I was working on putting out new R&B music, and I just started to build from the one song that I had prepared to just do for my finale performance as a judge on season 10. And it turned into a project. I made a post about it, and I have a friend who is one of the senior executives at Motown Gospel. And he saw me do this throwback post from the one and only gospel album that I did back in 2005, which came out in 2006. And I said, it's been 15 years. I can't believe it. Maybe it's time I do another one. Yep. And he was like, hey, is your number the same? Give me that. You need to call me. And so that call turned into a flight to Nashville, turned into a really good meeting, turned into a joint venture between my company and theirs. And now what I think is going to be an EP that's really going to kind of rock people, because it's not, I mean, I'm a church girl, a preacher's kid, but I'm not a gospel artist. And so this EP is really true to the eclectic taste of music that I have, and even in the way that my career has gone. Like, there's R&B-ish stuff. There's actually an R&B cover on this gospel EP, if you can believe it. There's an R&B cover on there. There's a old school Vanessa Bell Armstrong gospel cover, and then a lot of dance music on this. Nice. On this, it sounds like, and then Grace, the Grat track is like a lullaby, kind of like a lullaby meditation type thing. But there's more dance music on this project. I literally have a song with 2 hip hop artists.
Wow.
901 South and John Connor, who was a part of the Aftermath family, left, and he is putting out his music independently now. And so John Connor and 901 South are on a remix that I did for What I Need, which came out literally 2 days after my grandfather passed. And so it would, that song with them on it, it's like a whole different song. Like, it's literally me going back to the days of my voice laying underneath the Locks, or my voice laying underneath JC, or my voice laying underneath Big, or and that's where it takes you. This album really is. People are gonna be like, "Is she sure this is?" But it is. It is. It's an inspirational piece, and I really felt like I wanted to release some goodness into the world. You know what I mean? Like, I gotten to a point in the year where I was like, you know what? I am so tired of crying. I'm tired of crying. I'm tired of losing people. I'm tired of turning on the news and looking at these numbers go up. I'm tired. I'm tired. Like, I'm over it. Like, I just want to have a great big dance party, and I want to mean it. Like, I want other people to mean it. I want people to have something to dance to. And so you have a moment on this EP to cry, but the rest of the time you are literally going to be dancing.
Wow.
Seriously.
That's dope. We need that.
Yeah.
We need it.
Tom, it sounds like Kelly's excited to make music again. That's what we need. We need Kelly
That's
Price
what we
in the
need.
studio.
We need Kelly Price here. We need Kelly Price
but
giving us
it's
that
gonna roll
good.
right into the R&B project seamlessly, because the music is already done. And I'm really just grateful. I feel like I have the opportunity to do what not many people can do. And Aretha Franklin is somebody that I've always looked at as, in terms of where I come from and who I am. And she was a preacher's kid and sang her whole life growing up in church, but at any point would say, I think I want to do a gospel album. And, there was Amazing Grace, and it was off the charts. And I did that with the first album that was gospel, This Is Who I Am. And we went to #1 on Billboard on the gospel charts and hit top 5 or top 10, top 5, top 10 on the R&B charts with a gospel album when I did it the last time. And so to put the announcement out on Friday with the Grat track and the pre-order link, and we did so well, like in all of the numbers digitally, like it was amazing across the board, not just with Christian or indie or gospel, but we came in top 5 in new ads digitally on R&B. You know, like it was crazy. And the same day we made the announcement, like I said, wow, we pulled a Beyonce and got away with it. Like nobody even knew this was coming.
Yeah.
The day we made the announcement, we put the link up and went like #1 across the board on a lot of stuff and #2 on a bunch of stuff and top 5 on everything else.
Wow. Congrats on that. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's crazy, you know, there's always this stigma though with gospel music. It's unfortunate because it always doesn't seem to get the attention it deserves. I mean, good music is good music. This is some of the most purest form of music. I remember when we talked to Snoop Dogg a few years ago when he released his gospel album, he wasn't even fazed by the fact that people wouldn't pay attention because it was gospel. He just wanted to release good music. I mean, how do you approach releasing a gospel project in 2021 knowing it might be a challenge?
I have never let anyone decide for me what kind of music I should make. Literally. I feel like if it's what's coming out of my heart and if it's what's coming out of my pen, it's what I'm supposed to be singing. And so, and the people decide whether or not it's for them. And if it's for them, then I've done what I'm supposed to do. And if it's not for them, then you're not the audience this was meant for. And having that level of freedom as a creative is probably the best thing ever. You know, when you're feeling boxed in as a creative person is the worst feeling in the world. Yeah. And right now, like, I promise you, I'm so excited about people hearing this project because I know that's a question people are going to be like, they're going to be like, did she mean to call this a gospel album? But it's, you know, it's a label. But by definition, the word gospel simply means good news. And so I'm bringing good news to a world that could use some right now. People want to be happy. People want to smile. People want to dance. They want to feel good about something. They want to feel like it's not going to always be like this. They want to feel like one day, you know, we'll be able to go outside again and maybe you can shake somebody's hand again and not worry about whether or not, you know what I mean? Like it's just the last year we've been on timeout for a year.
No. Yeah.
Literally.
No, because like music serves as therapy. And I know you've gone through your tragedies over the past year. And even through your ups and downs in the music industry, it's just awesome to see that, hey, you're excited to make music again. You know, you're in a creative zone. And I mean, I can't wait for people to hear it because I think they're going to be shocked at first. But once they really get into it, I think it's going to be good things.
So can I tell you a secret? Let me tell you how mashed up this gospel album is.
All right.
I have a cover of Alicia Myers, I Want to Thank You on here.
Wow.
That is sick. Absolutely sick. And I can't wait for everybody to hear it. It's gonna be like the new two-step joint for everybody's wedding this summer.
That's super dope. You know, one of the reasons we love to celebrate you as an artist and celebrate your music is because of the legacy you've given us. So much timeless music, classic albums. We just revisited Soul of a Woman. And you know, I was speaking to one of our friends who's one of the biggest R&B album reviewers, listens to everything. And that's his favorite album of all time.
Really?
And for me to hear that and knowing
that's kind of dope. But it's 23 years old.
Yeah. I know. That's but crazy. I went back and listened to it just yesterday, actually. It doesn't sound dated at all, even for being 23. That album is nearly flawless.
Top to bottom.
Top to bottom.
Yeah.
I mean,
wow. Thanks. No, I literally was having the conversation with Shep Crawford the other day because we're still working on the R&B album. This project literally came in like it's almost like a divine interruption, almost like a glitch in the Matrix, but in a good way, because it's kind of what we need. It's just good vibes and good feelings and great energy and lots of love and just, I mean, you'll feel like last year was definitely a rough year, but you're not going to listen to it and hear a crying Kelly. You're going to hear a Kelly that's in a new place of now more than ever, I want to live and live out loud and dance and enjoy every moment that life has to offer. And I really want people to feel that from the first track to the last.
I love that. I'll tell you what, though. I have one complaint about your discography, if you don't mind.
Okay. What does it say?
We were talking to your publicist before you came on, and we had mentioned that we still hold on to our CDs. Well, I was on Spotify, and a couple of your albums are missing from Spotify, and that's the number one reason I hold on to my CDs. You know?
Yes.
And I can't believe your albums are missing from Spotify.
So you know what's interesting? I've been getting hit up a lot on IG by people saying, "Why are your albums disappearing from the internet?" And I'm like, is this a master plan? I don't know what's happening right now. Something tells me they will probably reappear after this EP drops. No interference. I don't know if I'm allowed to say, oops, too late, I said it. I think that I didn't realize that. I found out because I actually had people on IG like, yo, why can't I find Mirror Mirror? What's going on? Like, I'm looking for it. And I'm like, I don't know. Why can't you find it? It was there a couple of days ago. What is happening? I don't know.
It's strange.
Yeah.
Priceless too.
Yeah. All of it, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking that there may need to be like some anniversary editions of some things, though, maybe.
Yeah, there we go.
That might be totally cool. Maybe. I think that might be cool.
Kelly, you've mentioned Shep Crawford a couple of times on here. I actually spoke to him probably about a month ago, and he's pretty much done with the music industry. So, I mean, he has some exceptions. You're still there. I think he's still...
almost said something.
He's still working.
All the rest of them.
Yep. I mean,
he's had our conversation.
Exactly. I think he had that same conversation with Tamia as well. But like with people like Shep, people like Warren Campbell, like these guys have been with you for a long time now, and you guys always make magic. Like with these producers that work with you, what makes Kelly go? Like with people like Warren Campbell and Shep Crawford.
Well, they're musicians. They're musicians. I this is the thing. So. No, this is not to downplay or disrespect anything that anybody does, because I'm as much of a hip hop girl as I am an R&B girl. And so hip hop is more so, or at least, you know, at a point, it was about the beat. But when you're talking about singers and R&B music, there is a difference between a beat maker and a producer. And so beat makers make beats. Producers produce songs. And so there's live instrumentation, like literally, you know, again, Shep he's retiring, but I don't know anything about that. If I call him, he picks up the phone, so I don't have that issue. Matter of fact, we just got off the phone the other day. I just got some new music the other day. So,
wow.
Yeah, we have an understanding. Funny you mentioned that. I actually called him out on social media like, hey, so Shep Crawford, I added him. I actually didn't even need to add him. I went on his page and put this message. I'm like, he's one of the best to ever do it. Like, how do you decide that you're retiring? Like, I don't know. I might have to have a cut. I don't know. Because I know he's pastoring, because when I lived in LA, I was going to his church and working with the music department there. And so I'm like, so I don't know if God told you that or if that's what you told yourself, but I think we might need to start a petition or something and put it online and see if that's what needs to happen. And he actually answered me on his Facebook page. He was like, yeah, well, it wasn't God, but you know, if you need anything, God didn't necessarily tell me I had to retire, but if you need me for anything, I'll come out of retirement for you. And I was like, pretty much that's all I care about. I'm not really concerned about anybody else. If I call, I want you to take my call and say I'll do it. So, and he does. And he is. And we are. Even now. I have music in my computer.
Love to hear that. I gotta tell you, Kelly, we love 90s R&B. So many of our readers love that era. It's like the golden age of R&B music.
It really is.
You've got to take us back to what it was even like being in that moment, especially in the late 90s when R&B and hip hop were kind of merging. You know, you were on the Biggie singles with Puff Daddy, with Jay-Z. What was it even like being an artist in that moment? It's hard for us to even imagine now.
You know what's crazy? I I was so busy working that I was not I wasn't living the moment. Like, I look back on it now and I was grinding. I was just that girl that was grinding. Every time I turned around, I had a session, like literally from one thing would turn into another. Like Puff would be like, hey, so I got a call from so-and-so and so-and-so, and they're coming in town and they want to know, do you want to work on their record? And they ask me for your information. And I'm like, well, are you going to give it to them? So things were moving so fast for me that I didn't realize. I had to stop and take a moment. And I'm like, God, you're on some of the biggest songs in history. Like, I wasn't paying attention. I was just grinding. I was grinding. I was working. I was in the moment. And to tell the truth, like I was Kelly thinking about, being the little girl who was raised in a single parent home, and we were poor and we were on food stamps and, all of that stuff. And I'm just like, you're in. You don't have time to dilly dally, grind, make that money, grind, make that money, grind, make that money. Grind. And that's what I did. I was so busy grinding that I didn't actually take in the moments. But that's probably good though, because I'm not that person, but maybe if I had realized all the crazy greatness that I was a part of, maybe my head would have been too big to fit through a door. But I was just working. I literally was just showing up to work, writing the songs, singing the songs, like, okay, what else are we doing? Okay. And most days were 20-hour days, and I would drive home, kiss my kids, take a shower, change my clothes, get some coffee, and head back to the studio.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, 20-hour days, touring with Mariah Carey, traveling the world, that's not normal. That's not regular people stuff.
It's not regular people stuff. And all I could think about was, girl, you will never be homeless again. Grind, work, grind, work. No more government cheese. Grind, work, grind, work. No more food stamps. Grind, work. Like that was my mentality. So if I could change anything, I don't know that I would. I love the fact that I grinded the way I did. I don't think people grind like that anymore. Mm-mm. Like I remember those days. If we were all if I was at the Hit Factory, there could be 15 different rooms going in the Hit Factory. And I find out that, if Mace is in this room, Big is in that room, I'm working in this room on something for 112. Faith is in another room, all of these rooms happening. And we literally would just run in between rooms. Hey, I got a line. Can you come in? I just need you. Can you hit this one note for me? I want this one little thing. And that's how a lot of these records ended up coming together. We would be in these studios that had all of these different rooms. And then even Daddy's house. Daddy's house had the Neve room, the SSL room, and the MIDI room. Mm-hmm. And we would go between rooms, literally. One artist is in one room, another artist is in another room. The producers are in the MIDI room. They're banging out beats inside the MIDI room. And in the two large rooms, you got sessions happening. And so I remember going from writing for an Aaliyah session. That was the day that I met Mr. Biggs, Ron Isley.
Oh, wow.
I was finishing up a song for Aaliyah, track that Puff gave me, and I thought I was done for the day. And I'm walking out the door, and he's like, "No, I need you to stay." I'm like, "What you got going on?" He's like, "Ronald Isley is coming." And I'm like, "Oh, that's nice. What you want me to do with that?" He's like, "Well, I need you to write this song." I'm like, "Okay, well, when is he going to get here?" He said, "He just left his hotel." I said, "What?" Thank God for New York City traffic and rush hour traffic. So it bought me about 45 minutes, which was enough time to write his first single, "Floating on Your Love."
Wow.
Wow. That's some epic stuff right there.
Yeah.
And we also look back to the time you spent working with Mariah on tour with her. I mean, we picture Mariah as this artist who's larger than life, and for someone like yourself to work so flawlessly with her and be handpicked by her. I mean, that's an amazing story right there.
Oh my God! So for real, I'm a part of a choir that. A guy that I knew from church who was a musician. He was a contractor to put together this choir. But it all started where he was hired as a contractor to put together a group of singers for George Michael. And George Michael and Mariah were in the same wheelhouse. They were both at Sony. And that was when he came. It was in 1992. He played Madison Square Garden, I think 2 nights in a row. And so when Mariah knew that she was going to do this song that Carole King had wrote for her, she wanted this big sound. So they went back to my friend and they're like, yeah, we need another group, but can you get a larger group? Mm-hmm. I was a part of the George Michael group. And so he called me back for the group for Mariah. And I was very pregnant. Nobody knew it, but God, my doctor, my sister, and my son's father, that I was pregnant and super nauseated and couldn't eat and I couldn't stomach anything. And so in a break during rehearsal, like the group is going out into the other room and then everybody's eating pizza and all of this kind of stuff. And the smell of it is just making me want to puke. So like I can't be anywhere near food. So I sit at the piano and I just started singing. And that's literally how it happened. She walked in while I was at the piano singing.
Wow.
And she sent Trey Lorenz over. She sent Trey Lorenz over to start a conversation with me. And then she came over and she started talking. And then Tommy Mottola came and introduced himself, and then Randy Hoffman. And they were like, we want to work with you. And I was feeling kind of weird because I'm like, it was my friend's gig and I didn't want anybody to think that I was trying to do anything weird.
Right.
But I actually didn't give them my number that day because I didn't want my friend to think that I was trying to poach his job.
Yeah.
And I don't know how they did it. All I know is I got a call one day at my grandmother's house. And it was Tommy Mottola on the other end.
Wow.
Craziest thing ever. And he was like, yeah, so I just wanted to talk to you about this. You know, MTV has this amazing new concept that they're doing. And it's called Unplugged and it's all acoustic. And Mariah's going to be doing it. And she wants you to come and she wants you to sing with her. You think you can handle that? And I'm like, how did you get this number?
Yeah.
Weirdest thing ever.
The music industry.
I'm like, yeah, but my sister has to come with me. I didn't know what. I'm 18. Mm-hmm. I'm like, yeah, my sister's got to come with me though. He's like, fine, bring your sister. It's fine. So we get there. He's like, it was at Kaufman Astoria, I think is where they used to. The Kaufman Astoria Studios is where they used to do it. Mm-hmm. And it's so funny. I was just talking about it the other day. I was sitting getting my nails done. And Can't Let Go by Mariah came on. And what I loved it when first of all, she destroyed it every time she sang it. Mm-hmm. But what I remember, my first memory of singing that with her was that day we had already finished. When we filmed MTV Unplugged, the audience was like, no, do one more, please, do one more. Mm-hmm. And we hadn't rehearsed it. If you go back and watch that Unplugged, and take a look at it, you'll see she's like, "Do you think we should do it? When you want?" We had not rehearsed it. Like we did it on the spot. I had never performed it with her before. None of us had ever performed it together. It was on the spot, but I knew the song obviously because I loved it. But right on the spot, no rehearsal. It was like please do one more, and she was like, "You want to do Can't Let Go?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Is she asking us? and that probably it was a magical moment.
Wow.
It was amazing. A magical moment. We had a lot of those moments. Out on the road. I was really young when I started with her. And I say that when that was my college, like when the kids that I went to school with were going to college, that was me going to college. That was me going to university. That was me learning and picking up the tools that I would need to have a lengthy career and just to not just be a singer, but to be one that actually knows the business. I learned that because I was around that setting.
Wow.
Amazing.
Kelly, we spoke to Soul Shock and Carlin a while back and he was talking
about... Oh my God, I haven't seen them in so long.
And it's crazy because they were talking to me about Heartbreak Hotel and they were saying because of how unorthodox that beat was, Whitney Houston had a hard time recording that song. But as I look back at your career, you've always been able to sing over these weird beats, whether it was from Bad Boy, whether it was that Soul Shock and Carlin record. Like, where did that come from for you?
That came from being thrown in a room by Puff Daddy with a loop, and nothing else. Like, So imagine, okay, so the 10 Crack Commandments, bing, boom, 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 bing, like you put that on loop and just let it run until you either get dizzy, pass out, or write a song. I chose to write a song. and that literally, so he used to do stuff like that. He used to give me like a beat, no chords, no melody, just a beat. And he'd be like, yeah, I need something Illmatic for the club. And I'm like, there's nothing here. What do you want me to do with this? And it really, it helped me. Like that's another, again, that was college for me. It was college for me. And it made me grow as a writer. I had always been a lyric and melody writer from the time that I was a kid anyway. Yeah. But I really had to stretch that muscle with the merging of R&B melodies over straight hip hop beats with no music whatsoever. And if chords ended up on the song, it usually ended up on the song later because of what I was doing. You know, they decided, oh, well, let's add some strings here. She's doing a harmony thing here. We can add a little music. But most of the time it was just like a beat with some bass, maybe.
Wow.
Maybe.
I mean, Kelly, you know, one thing we know we're always going to get from you on a song, though, is the best vocal performance we've ever heard, because you are one of the best vocalists ever. I mean, that's just a fact. I'm saying, I mean, this is not going to be a fair question, but where does that even come from? How did you develop one of the best voices we've ever heard?
My grandmother. My grandmother. She started it for all of us. Everybody in my family is a singer and or a musician. And we all got it. She got it from God. We got it from her and God. And like none of us ever took any formal lessons. My grandmother, my 95, almost 96-year-old grandmother who kicked COVID's behind last year. She was my first and earliest influence. Stood all of 4 feet, 10.5 inches tall. And when she opened her mouth, she'd blow a room out.
Wow. Tom, before Kelly got on this call, we were talking about the Love Sets You Free music video. It was like the R&B Avengers on that set. You had Drew Hill, Kelly Price, Montel, Case, Playa. I'm probably forgetting a couple of people. Kelly, what was it like on that set? Because that sounds like, and Teddy Riley, of course, but that set must have been fun.
Chucky Thompson was there. Teddy Riley was there. You know, you'd be surprised what you can get somebody to do when you bribe them with Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, that was my bribe. I was like, listen, we're going to do this song. The money is going for cancer research, and I'll have Roscoe's there. And I really did have Roscoe's. I got Roscoe's for everybody that day. And we raised some money. We raised some money for a great cause. And I'm really, really proud of what we did with that song. And today now, like, it goes so hard. I miss being able to, when I go overseas, they want to hear that before they hear anything else. That song goes so hard in England, in Africa, like it goes so hard in Europe that, like, it has to be on the playlist when I play over there.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's super dope. Love that song.
Yeah. Thank you.
Kelly, I think we're just about out of time. Is there anything you'd like to add before we get out of here?
Oh my God. Yeah. The music is here to stay. Mm-hmm. The music is here to stay. It's never going anywhere, man. Like I think the great thing about where we are in time, people are like, oh my God, R&B is dead. R&B, no. Listen, I'm not saying it's only alive because I'm alive, but I'm saying if people want to say that it's dead, I'm saying as long as I'm alive, it's not dead, because I don't plan on not singing. But there's a lot of great R&B out there. Like I love, obviously jazz. Her is my new all-time favorite. Her music, she is my new all-time favorite in every lane.
Wow.
And I just think that her level of gifting is so unfair. Like she gave me at the Super Bowl, she gave me, what was that, a Prince? Would we call that a Prince moment with the guitar? Would we call that? Yeah, with America the Beautiful. Oh my God. That was absolutely rock star superiority. Absolute rock star superiority. She is my new favorite everything. She's my new favorite everything. She is the epitome of musicianship. She sings, she writes, she plays. She's music. She's walking music, and it's what I love. It reminds me of what I felt like when I was younger, like maybe her age and even younger. She lives the music. She lives the music,
and it's cool that the kids like it too.
Yeah. She makes it work because they can look at her and they see themselves. So it's never going to die. It's never going to go away. What would I want the people to know? The music is never going to die. It's never going to go away. Follow me, find me, www.kellyprice.com, Miss Kelly Price at IG. And there's more music coming this year. We're going to have lots of fun. We're going to have lots of fun with this. I can't wait for you guys to hear the whole project. And then after it comes out, we got to do this again because I want you to tell me whether or not you think this is a gospel album.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm excited now.
For sure.
I don't even know what to expect. That's exciting.
You're going to have fun with it. I promise.